Hi, I wanted to give you a little bit of help with manipulating student details. So if you downloaded student details from your central system, it often gives you the option to download into Excel. But quite frequently, the details are not quite in the right place, and you need to do a little bit of change and manipulation just to make it have things in the right columns. So I'm going to show you how to do that in Excel. So I'm assuming you're able to download. So let's just have a quick look at the end result. And I've just simulated some things that you might see and might have to deal with. So typically, you might get something like this, where we've got some student ID, you've got the name and the first name, and what you really want is something like this. And I'm going to get you to venture into probably a part of Excel you might not have looked at before, which is the Data tab. And under the Data tab, there's this nice little thing called Flash Fill, which is quite clever, quite smart. So what you do is you give it an example of what you want it to look like. So I wanted to take this and create this. And then you include that and just highlight the area that you want to put that information in and click on Flash Fill. You'll see it's kind of taken all the information and reprocessed it. So we can do that. Let me just do that again. Do it with, maybe you want to change it the other way around and have Brown, James. Oops, there we go, James. You just highlight, give it the example, highlight, click Flash Fill, and there's everything nicely changed for you. There's no need to create formulas or do anything more complicated than that. Let me just give you another example. If we had something like this, where we wanted to have something in capitals, it will do that as well. You just give it the example, click on Flash Fill. This was under Data, don't forget. And there you are. You've got everything that you wanted to have. Now, there are some things that you might find. In fact, actually, let me just show you an example. All I've done here is I've added another column, and it's kind of upset things. So now when I try the same thing, you get a message like this, telling you it doesn't know what you're on about. So you just have to give it a little bit more help and say, I want to have Peter Smith. So give it two examples, click on Flash Fill, and it's done it for you. Just make it a little bit wider. Now we'll also add in multiple things. So in this case, I've got a student number and I've got it in brackets. So again, I've given it the example, click Flash Fill, and there you go. You've got the same thing, but with some numbers on. So it's quite clever. You don't need to do any clever tricks or fancy stuff to get it to do that. Now it will work the other way. So it will go from something like a full name and produce a surname and a first name. You have to do this in two goes. So you give it the one example of Brown, click on Fill, and it's done that. And do the same thing, highlight that for the first name. Now there's only one problem here, that maybe you want to treat this and these ones as being a two-part surname or a two-part first name. So it's not perfect, but there is something you can do. So let's just try. Let's imagine that this is a combined first name. So if I just go in here and just edit that, and then press Enter, watch the ones below. You see those have now been updated as well. So it still remembers the fact that this has been calculated for you, and it's done its best to make that bit work out. So hopefully that's given you some ideas. Now, if you need to do anything more complicated, you can do it with formulas. Let me show you a formula example. Let's just do it. I'm just going to put in a heading of formula. Now, I'm assuming you know something about formulas in Excel, but if not, you can just copy a little bit of what I'm just doing here. Formulas always start with an equals, and then you have this little button here that says function. You click on that, and it'll either appear in the middle of the screen or off to one side. And we just need to search for something called concat or concatenate. So I want that one. I'm just going to insert it. So if you're doing this from scratch, you can do it yourself. You can just type this concat open brackets, close brackets. Now what I want to have here is I want to join, say, the first name and the last name. So I want to have, just clicking on first name, putting a comma, and then I want to, you have to make a little list with commas. I just want a little bit of space, and then I want a comma, and then I want my surname. So you can see the full version of it. Let me just open it that bigger so you can see it. That doesn't let me see it. That's really nice of it. Can I go up a bit? No. Okay, it's playing silly what's it today. So that in full is equals concat, open brackets, and I'm using D2, and I'm putting a space in quotes, and then I'm putting in the surname. So if I press enter on that, now so I could click on done down here, it's made that nice new version for us, and then we can use that little square just to copy it all down. So that's the more complicated way of doing it, but you can see by using that flash fill that was up here, yeah, it works fine. Just don't forget that you can't do this kind of thing in one go. You have to do surname and then do first name. But it will do things like extracting out these numbers. If you had this, you could turn it into this. So I hope that's been useful, and I'll see you in another video.